Hi, I'm Chelsea.
Hi, I'm Mary Lee.
So the first question in the video, New York has a great subway if you're not in a wheelchair. Um, what details show us why a person is more disabled in New York than in Boston, and how did Boston become a less disabling place?
I feel like the problem with New York is it's heavily traveled, so there's fewer entrances and fewer exits, and it makes things a lot harder for people to maneuver because everybody's in such a hurry there. I
Yeah.
mean, I've never been to Boston, so
Yeah, I've only been to New York, but in the article, I know it said only 92 out of the 425 stations they had worked, and like
yeah,
if the elevators weren't broken down. So I thought that was just like a thing they really need to like update on
agreed,
because a lot of people do travel in New York and the subway is the system to go.
agreed.
Yeah. And in Boston, they became like more wheelchair friendly. I
Yeah,
think they got sued.
yeah, they got sued. I think it was.
It was in 2002.
Yeah, 2002.
But yeah, so compared to New York, they're like 90% more like wheelchair
Yeah.
accessible in their subway.
And that's crazy to think about considering New York is so heavily traveled.
Hmm. You would think they would like update their system.
Yeah, and they should.
So the next question is in the video about Judith Butler, what details in their stories tell us what the presenters mean by disabling society and like the decision like not to pick up a coffee cup with one's teeth? Like what does that teach the viewers?
I feel like in the beginning of when she's riding on the bicycle, having that interview, she talks about acceptance and everything that people treat you differently, people look at you differently.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're afraid to do things because somebody's going to judge you, and it's not right. And you want to be normal without being a social outcast. I think there's a
Yeah.
lot of stigma with that.
Like the coffee cup example, like I feel like picking up with your teeth, that's so foreign to people and like
Yeah,
new. That society just like it's not normal for them, even though they should like accept like disabled people like
yeah,
that. Because a lot of people can't use their hands.
yeah,
Um, and then in the video, she said this like quote that I liked. It's access leads to social access and acceptance. So I think that's a really important quote because once we do get exposed to something and normalize
yeah,
it, like the street curves, like it just becomes part of normal day society.
yeah. Agreed on that.
And then the last question is about David Kish. And why is what David calls the blind profession opposed to what David does? Does the blind professions represent a abling or disabling segment of society?
Do you want to go first on that question?
Yeah. I said the blinds profession is against echolocation because they say it's too difficult for the blind to
Hmm.
learn. However, they only restrict it because they want the traditional route instead of
Yeah,
new, and they don't want to take risks. And I said the blinds profession represents a disabling segment of society because they're going against what Daniel does and like completely excluding him. Like
yeah,
he is not supported by the national blind organizations all over the world just because he uses a new way instead of the old ways.
yeah. It's pretty much that way in the world anyway today. We judge people, and the only way to get things passed is to go through Congress, and even Congress, I feel like, doesn't do enough for
Yeah.
those that are disabled because people are just stigma. And it's kind of like what we were learning in class, code of ethics, how to treat people. And people are different, and people are always going to get treated badly, no
Yeah.
matter if they're using a coffee cup with their teeth or, trying to use sign language.
Hmm.
So,
But yeah, that was our presentation.
yes.